So finally, let's talk about making the change in your district.
Right, so the first change you're going to do is to select the right measure for your district or the right resource for your district. So start with the NCII's tool chart. They have a comprehensive list of progress monitoring tools, and they show you how each tool meets their standard for technical rigor. Then, when you're talking to different providers, confirm the following to make sure you pick the product that's right for you. So you want to ensure the resource is appropriate for weekly progress monitoring. There are some tests on that list that take 30 minutes or more to complete, and those are valid and those are, you can't hear me?
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I just heard a hello. Okay, ensure the resource is appropriate. I'm sorry, I just read that, but those are valid and reliable, but are they practical? You're going to confirm the purpose of the progress monitoring tool you select from the chart. Not all of the listed resources are intended for weekly progress monitoring. Learn how the tests are administered. Think about the implications of a weekly probe that is administered one-to-one with students and teachers. Perhaps use a resource that requires one-to-one administration more sparingly. Then, for the majority of the students, use a tool where they log on to a computer and complete a probe independently. You want to understand how the graph is created. Does the teacher have to enter data? Does the teacher have to create the graph manually? Please no. Account for that time in the teacher's day and make sure it won't be overwhelming if that tool doesn't do it for you. And then lastly, evaluate the variety of grades, subjects, and even domains of a CBM. Minimizing the number of platforms you are using will be super helpful.
That's right. So those are exactly the right questions to ask to select the right tool. But once that's done, it's all about teachers embracing the tool. Transitioning to assessments validated outside their control can be scary. So spend time communicating why you're moving to this new measurement. Make sure the team sees the value of using progress monitoring data to ensure students are responding to their SDI. Reassure teachers that you're looking for slow but consistent growth over time, not immediate student mastery. Also emphasize this data is there to help them make adjustments in a timely manner. But also remind teachers it's imperative they review and take action on data when students are not growing. This is how we ensure compliance with FAPE. If possible, adopt your progress monitoring tools district-wide, especially if you have high mobility in your district. Not only does this help all teachers speak the same language around data, it also ensures that when a student moves from one school to another, you can continue to progress monitor them with the same measure. Also, depending on your district's culture, you may need to remind the staff that progress monitoring results are in no way tied to teacher evaluation. This is a tool that gives them, the teacher, information about what is or isn't working for their students and a chance to make changes early in the process. Confidence in these areas will make professional learning much more impactful. Also, as Jordan mentioned, selecting a tool that saves teachers time, like with automatic graphing and reporting, does go a long way toward getting buy-in. So make sure the professional learning goes beyond just selecting and assigning progress monitoring probes.
Yeah, so training sessions should include selecting the CBM probe that aligns with the annual measurable goal, interpreting the data. For example, the 4-point rule should be a part of any progress monitoring training, understanding how to talk to students about the probes and their progress, reading the data reports. This is key to teacher confidence. Make sure all teachers receive enough professional learning about the data that they understand and can talk about all aspects of the reports, especially those reports that are being sent home to parents. And offer guidance for teachers about some changes they might make to a student's SDI when needed. Like the Classworks examples Melissa discussed earlier, teachers learn how to adjust a student's learning path, review the diagnostic data from the skill scores, and even create specific assignments for a student. Nothing's worse than learning to read a report that shows a student isn't making progress and understanding that confidently, but then not having clear options about what to change. And also, it's important to recognize that no single tool will work for 100% of your students. If you're able to use one resource to progress monitor 90% of your academic IEPs, consider that a big win. And finally, go slow to go fast. Make a strategic plan for rollout. So perhaps you're going to start with your new referrals the first 9 weeks, And then during this 9 weeks, take a look at the progress reporting data you plan to send home for your established IEPs. And then at the beginning of the next 9 weeks, select 20% of those students to start progress monitoring with your new tool. And make sure there's time to reflect throughout this process. How was parent communication? Was there enough teacher professional learning? Is everyone comfortable with the data? Rinse and repeat until all students are being monitored with your new tool. And then within 18 months, you will all be experts.
So before we recap and take questions, I do want to reiterate our appreciation to CASE for all their advocacy work. As mentioned earlier, not only are we friends of CASE, we're also endorsed by CASE. And as Bridget said, initially in 2010, and then going through that rigorous process every 3 years. And honestly, the feedback that we've received during that process has really helped the Classworks platform get better and better over the years. So thank you for that too. So for those of you that are not familiar, at Classworks, we do offer valid and reliable screening and progress monitoring, and also an evidence-based intervention. The components were developed and validated independently, but exist under one login for ease of use. We do adhere to the best practices outlined in today's webinar, from a product feature set, reporting, and the focus of our professional learning. So if you're interested in seeing if Classworks partnership might make sense for your district, you can reach us at hello@classworks.com. Now let's review everything we talked about today. We discussed how Andrew F. put all of this in motion. Then we defined progress monitoring and further defined valid and reliable progress monitoring. We talked about what the data tells us and the importance of taking action on and communicating about the data. Finally, we went through some of the easy progress monitoring pitfalls that happen and how to start making the changes in your district.